Hello guys, the coin here once again. So I decided to come back to stream this this utter insanity that is actually going on in the stock market right now. But it is what it is, guys, and I'm here to document it, to tell how absurd it is, but it is the reality that we're living in. So we have a breakout. We had a breakout here after the opening, right on the ticker. So at 13:30. Well, it's not quite the truth. It was at 2:30 when the market opened. So the market went up. Once again, I said in the last stream that I made, if Bitcoin, if the futures market was able to go above this broadening wedge trend line here, then we would go much higher. But I wasn't expecting to find resistance at this rising wedge here, which is what it is actually doing right now. So the futures market is finding resistance here in the in this trend line, in this rising wedge trend line right now. So it has been struggling a lot to get above it. So eventually, if it continues like that, it will eventually break, but not as of right now. So let me take a look once again at the Dow Jones. So the Dow Jones, like I said, opened higher, here, and is finding resistance on this resistance here. This coincidences because we always have to go back to see where support and resistances were on the chart. So it looks like it's finding resistance right around the area when the Dow actually dropped on the 23rd of June. So earlier. Not earlier, so last month. So we're finding resistance in here. So it's not going as I actually thought it would, because I actually thought it would actually shoot up. But the reality is that there are some resistances here that need to be broken in order for the market to continue to rise. And as of right now, it's finding resistance here. Eventually, if this breaks, then we have another resistance here, right? This is a big one. This is where the Dow Jones actually tried to go up and failed and went to the downside. So I believe this resistance here has more importance as of right now. So this is what's going on. And once again, I'm still not convinced about this bull market, but I believe this trend line is the ultimate here. If this trend line, or this support, or whatever you want to call it, if this gets broken, then yeah, then I believe that much higher highs are actually possible. This is basically the support here that prevented the stock market to go high. Look, it went above once, went down. Yes, it tried it, never retested it again, was closed, never retested, and then it started to drop here. We could actually see it here because if this because once again we have to consider in what kind of a pattern we might be as well, because taking all into this consideration here, we might be in a rising triangle, right? Because of the support. So I believe that this will be major support. Will be major support here for I don't know. I don't know for how long it will be, but I believe this will be major support here, because I have been paying attention to this as well, and now I'm starting to see that this might be a possibility because of that rising triangle here. Generally, this pattern is a bullish pattern, but we have to, once again, in this case, if this is the real deal, we have to wait for confirmation. So what are we waiting for? In this case, in the longer frame, so we're actually waiting if the stock market is able to get to these prices here. If it gets rejected, which I believe it will, it will kind of do something like this, a zigzag around here, and then maybe it needs to wait for the apex. Maybe it will happen sooner or later. It will break to the upside, or it will break to the downside. Although it is a rising wedge, and generally rising wedges are bullish patterns, they can always break down as well. So we already had kind of a breakdown here, right? We already had a kind of a breakdown, we broke down, we retested, and then we went the other way. So these things, yeah, technical analysis is really some fucked up shit, man. You may see the patterns, but the patterns are not everything. So once again, let's go back here to the Dow Jones Futures. It's actually still having a lot of resistance here in this rising wedge formation here. So it's kind of breaking out a little bit, but not that much. So it looks like it is a very much of a resistance point here. So let's take a look at what is actually going on with Bitcoin as well. So Bitcoin also broke out from the structure in here. It's getting rejection as well. So there is rejection around this area, which could mean that we are kind of a same pattern here. So this was previous support. This got broken. Let me take this away. So this got broken, and now we are in another. Maybe we are in another rising wedge formation here, right? So we found support on this trend line here. So we had a bottom, double bottom, triple bottom, right? We had a triple bottom here. So that means that this is strong support. This area here, the 9168, is a very strong support. And now we are having strong resistance around the 9257, right? So I believe this will be a point of confluence. It might take a while. It may take all day, maybe. We were going to be hovering these highs and lows, or maybe even coming back. Coming back to these levels, because we already start to understand that this is heavy support here. This is heavy resistance. Became heavy resistance here. So the price is having difficulties breaking above or breaking below these of these areas here. So yeah, we have to wait to what will happen, because basically right now this is not a trading zone. This is not a trading zone. I know that many people feel tempted to, oh yeah, okay, I'm going to sell here, close the position, then I'm buying, then I'm selling here. So it doesn't always play out like that, because it might not get to this level. We might get a little dump, and then we may come back, and then we hang around, and then we dump. So like we saw here, look, when we started to get to this formation here, which was the first formation, it actually played out perfectly. Lower low, higher high, same lows, same highs, same lows, and then breakout. So I actually put the trend line in here. So, and the reason I didn't play this is because I was busy doing that live stream, because in the middle, and then only when I switched off, because I wanted to eat something. When I switched off was when the markets were open, and Bitcoin and the Dow Jones and the Dow Jones futures were actually mooning. So basically that's where we at. We're still, although we had kind of a breakout, we still have to understand that we are still, so we have resistance here. We are still in this rising pattern formation here. We haven't broke out yet, just like in the Dow Jones futures. The Dow Jones futures is still having resistance around the rising wedge, this rising wedge trend line here. So I guess the market doesn't want to go, or the people that are manipulating the market into buying, it doesn't want to go as they think it will, because once again, these trend lines, they are the big deal, because if these trend lines, if they were here by random, they wouldn't just stop the price, like it happened before. Look, it did here again, here once again, it did here it started here from this bottom here, it stopped it here from going down, it stopped it from going down here, it stopped it from going down here. So these trend lines, they have meaning, they mean something, and the reason why they mean something is because we see these kinds of patterns here. So the problem is interpreting these signals here, because once again we haven't broke out to the upside of this triangle, this rising wedge formation. So this rising edge is still at play, and generally the rising wedge is a bearish formation here. So unless the price breaks definitely to the upside, if the price breaks up to the upside definitely, then this rising wedge is invalidated, or it's playing out, because once again, although the rising wedge is more or of a bearish pattern, it can still go both ways. It can break up to the upside, or it can break up to the downside. It has more probability to break down to the downside, but probabilities are what they are. I believe these rising wedges, they have I don't know what the percentage is. It must be about 60-40, 60 to the downside, 40 to the upside, I would say. So this is what is going on right now in the market. Let me take a quick look at what the Forex, the Euro USD is actually doing. I believe that the Euro must be doing well again, I would suppose. No, the Euro is not doing well for whatever reason. So we're still kind of a weird pattern here, because I'm starting to see kind of a left shoulder here, right? Left shoulder, maybe a head. Maybe we are forming the right shoulder. I don't know. That is a possibility. So I will put this trend line here on this neckline, because this could be a potential break to the downside line if the right shoulder should be formed here. Maybe it is the case already. I don't know. It looks kind of small, but it could be considered a shoulder here. This is one head. The left shoulder looks like a little bit, well, doesn't look very static, but this could be the case, you know. So if this is the case, then this is the neckline, and this is the neckline. So this means that the potential for this move is the potential for this move is, god damn it, get the fuck out of the way, man. Damn it. The potential of this move could be to the downside, considering to take a look at the neckline here. We could see the Euro USD, you know, go to these levels here, go to this support level here, which is at around 112.029. So these are potential levels that we could get to, you know. So this is a possibility even here, you know, even if you don't consider this the left shoulder. This could be the left shoulder here. Look, it's a shoulder, it's a head, then we have another shoulder here, so this could be also a shoulder. So let me just remove this to see how, look how well it respects that line. I created this line way before we got into there, so we went down. I was already thinking that this was the head and shoulder, right? The left shoulder, I thought this was the left shoulder. So it went down, it made another wake up, it got rejected here, we went down, and maybe now we're doing the head and shoulders pattern. Could be, look, this is the left shoulder, small one. This is the head, the structure here. This is the left shoulder. So I guess this is the neckline here, right? So if that is the case, then we could see more potential down movement to the Euro US dollar. And I talked about it this video as well. Although I wasn't expecting it to go up again and then break down, but still it came back to the level that I actually thought it would. So we have to wait. This was the previous one. This was the previous one where I thought this was the neck of the head and shoulder. So basically what I was counting on was that this was the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. You make the trend line like this. No, because even if it is the case, it means the neckline is a little bit different now. So if this is not the neckline, then the neckline needs to be, where does the neckline need to be? Yeah, sometimes it's hard to figure out, and like most traders say, don't complicate stuff. If things look too complicated, don't even try to make sense out of them. And maybe this is one of these cases, you know. So if this is the left shoulder, this is the right shoulder, so that means that the neckline should be what? Or maybe this, once again. Yep, who knows? Maybe this was the neckline as well. So if that is the case, we might see here at least testing these levels here, testing the 113.71, I would say. If we continue to break down, then yeah, I guess we will see the 120.07 I think. So it's going down very very heavily right now. I would think that the stock market is kind of doing the same, but sometimes it differs, so it's not the case yet. The Dow Jones is dumping a bit, so the futures market is also dumping a bit as well. Yeah, so it's getting away, it's going down, maybe resetting the oscillators to try to get back up again. So let me take a look at BTC USD as well to see what is going on. Yep, BTC is kind of doing the same thing. It actually started to drop first. Now the market is actually catching up. So once again, we have to see. This is basically still a no trading zone because we still have no fucking clue whatsoever what is about to happen. If anyone played this breaking out of this structure, yeah, this would be a good move to trade. So bought the breakout, you sold here. That's what many traders, many professional traders do, and that's what they should do, you know. Unfortunately, I'm not still at that level yet. Maybe I'll get it somewhere, but I'm still making a lot of mistakes, but that's just the way it is. So let's hope I'll get there. But in order for that, you really need to be patient. You need to put your orders in, because if you're not on the market, you need to set up these orders, these buying orders and selling orders accordingly. So that's basically what one needs to do. So let me see if anyone is watching. Nobody's watching here, so once again, let's go back here to the Euro USD market to see how it plays out. If it plays out. In the meanwhile, I'm just going to take a smoke and I'll be back. Okay, guys. So how can we understand if we are on an on an upward channel, or an upward trend or a downward trend? Well, it's kind of like when you start to see these breakdowns here. So this was the top, we made a lower low, we made a lower high, we continue to make a lower low, a lower high. Now we have to see if this is going to change the trend again to the upside. So if this makes a double bottom it will go up again, and this might be the beginning of a new upward trend. So we have to wait and see what happens. So at this moment we're still in a descending trend. So the price is still going down. So we have to see if this is a double bottom here, because if this is a double bottom, then we are going to get a trend change here. As of right now, it looks like it. If it breaks that resistance there, and if it goes lower, the trend is still downward. If on the other hand we make kind of a double bottom there, then this might be a trend change as well. So we have to wait and see what happens here. The RSI swing trader indicator is not signaling, you know, that it reached the low yet, so it's doing it now, but we are still having a lower low, so we continue to go down. So even if the price will bounce here, it's still signaling that we're in a downtrend, because we made a lower low. Although we might have a bounce now, because the RSI is oversold, and now it will try to go to the upside again. And if that is the case, we will be making a lower high than the previous one, which is this one here. So these are the fundamentals of technical analysis: lower highs and lower lows, you know, trend changes, you know. That's why it is better to prepare and to understand which kind of patterns we are in. I make that mistake a lot of times. I just jump into the market without, you know, assessment, without doing the research in what kind of a pattern that we are. What is the possibility? Are we going higher? Are we going lower? But like I said, you know, the trend is still downward. We're still making lower lows. So it is dropping hard right now. We might see support at that line over there. Yep, we are seeing support here. In the meanwhile, I closed some of my positions that I had opened there, just waiting for that. And still, there's still a possibility that we could still have lower prices, but it looks like we're fighting right now here on this support here. That wasn't that big of a support. Well, it was support here. Kind of became support here as well, then resistance. So this is still at play here. We are still trying to figure out if we're going lower, if we are going to bounce back, and if we finally are going to make higher highs. So in the meanwhile, let's take a look at the Dow Jones to find any justification for this move. So like we can see, the Dow Jones and the futures market dropping is bringing pressure to the markets as well. So basically now the Dow Jones is testing this area once again, this structure that I was talking about. and we will have to see if this is an indication that it will break once again to the downside, because it still may fail. I know that I talked about that these broadening wedges, they are quite accurate. The reality is I still don't know how accurate they are, because every move, every pattern, can break. They're not 100% for certain, so that's what we have to take into consideration as well. So let me take a look at once again at the futures market. Yeah, the futures market is dropping as well, so I guess we're going to retest the area that I was talking about, that broadening wedge and kind of rising triangle that I was talking about, and we still have to understand that we're still in a rising wedge formation. So this could be the meaning of a reversal here. I'm not certain, but we will see soon enough. So the euro US dollar is still kind of bouncing, kind of still retesting that support at that pivot line there. Now it's breaking to the downside, or not. Still trying to hang on there. So it is a possibility that there is a possibility that this will be very strong support, but we still have to wait what happens. So basically I was in this trade since around this area, since I saw the breakdown. I saw this breakdown here, so I thought that might have been the case, that we were making lower lows. We were making lower lows, although we didn't have any for a reasonable amount, but this breakdown signaled that this was a trend change. So once again we bottomed around here, we went up, we never made the higher highs, so we made lower lows, we dropped, we made lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, and this might be a reversal of the trend again, but we have to see. But like I said, it looks like if the Dow Jones and the futures market continue to drop lower, this will go lower as well. And in most cases, some people like to trade this when we are in these kinds of trends. You wait for the price to go back up, to see lower highs, and then you open a position, you open a short position, and then when it comes back to that price or goes lower, then that's when you sell. But now I'm not certain. I don't know if this is the bottom, because this was still a lower low. I believe that we're going higher. I don't know how high we may go. If we're going to break this, it means that we are having a trend change. If we're going to have another lower low, I expect the prices to still continue to go down, although then they could change again. So once again, we're finding heavy support here at this area. So the futures market is still still going down, so we already broke. We went lower than this this structure that I was talking about before. It looks like we're going up again. So now we have to understand if this is a trend change, because overall we're still on a rising trend. We made low, but we didn't make lower lows yet. So we have to understand if we're now going to make lower highs. If we're not going to make it, if we're going up and not going to make to this high here, then the uptrend is broken. So that's what we are trying to identify right now. Are we still on an uptrend, or have we changed? So this is the question here. Once again, I also, if anyone is watching this, you should also paying attention to this trend line, because this is the lower trend line of the rising wedge. Because if we are about to fail, if we're going to go lower, you know, this wedge here, this wedge is going to be support. And if it gets broken to the downside, then we will have more downside momentum. So by now we're trying to understand in which trend we are in, because we were on an uptrend. We are still not making lower lows, so we're still on an uptrend. So we have to try to find out where the higher high is going to lead us, or if there is going to be a higher high. Because if there's not going to be a higher high, that means that we are on a downtrend. That was kind of what it was signaling in here, right? So we had higher high, lower low, higher low, lower low. Then we had higher high, lower high, or higher low, and then we broke to the upside. So this basically here, so this was telling us that the trend changed. The trend changed after this because we made higher highs, where we did make lower lows before. So higher lows, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. Well, here we had higher lows, actually. If we take a good look at it, or kind of a double bottom, that's what happened. Yes, we had a double bottom here, so we didn't go lower. This was the beginning of the trend change. So we had then higher highs again, lower lows, and then we blowed up to the upside. So it looks like the trend has changed. We're still making higher highs, so we have to break this area here to make lower lows, and that will be signaling that we are on a downtrend. But that is not the case yet. So the euro-US dollar is still hanging around that level. It actually started to break to the upside again. The problem is that this is already signaling us that yeah, we're still on a downtrend. So the RSI has to tell us, still hadn't told us for a lower high here. Still oversold. This is actually a good indicator to tell you in which kind of a pattern we actually are. Sometimes it isn't that clear. So let me might take a look at what Bitcoin is actually doing. So in Bitcoin we still are not certain, because in this case here, this was signaling us for 3 consecutive times that this was the support area. After that, we still made a lower low, a higher low, a lower low, and this was the confirmation of the trend change. This upside momentum here. So it means that after that, the momentum had changed. So this was the point that would change the trend line, because we were making, well, this was not the case yet, because this was still a higher high than this one. So I guess this was the turning point here, when we had a lower high or a high low, right? A high low, then we break to the upside, and then this was a confirmation. We made a lower low, which wasn't the lowest low, higher low. Now we're having the first low. Now we're going to have to go back again, and if we are breaking this to the downside, then this will be a trend a changing of trend again. So if Bitcoin is not able to go higher than this, then this might be the trend change to the downside. Kind of what happened here. We had the higher low, we had a lower low, which didn't told us anything yet. This here told us that, you know, the trend changed. We didn't make higher highs, so next time we dumped, we made lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. Then we had a kind of a double bottom. No, we still made lower lows here. Then we made higher lows here. That was telling us that there might have been a change in the trend, which happened briefly when we made lower lows, but then it was broken by lower highs, then again lower lows, then lower highs, higher lows. This might have been, you know, where we could say that this was the trend change, and after that we broke to the upside. This was short-lived as well, because once again we had lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, kind of a double top pattern here, because we went to the same length, double top. So that signaled, the double top signaled that a drop was coming. Yeah, I'm actually analyzing these charts here, and I'm rationalizing, because I haven't been looking at them how I am looking at them, because I'm studying. I'm really studying, trying to tell you what I'm finding, and I'm absorbing that information as well. I don't know if anyone is actually watching here. I guess someone is watching. If you want to comment, just go ahead. I'm just trying to make sense of what is going on in the market right now. So once again, after we made this double top here, we never went higher. Then this was where the market turned. So we had this very big drop here. We had a higher low. We had a double bottom, a double top. Then we kind of went sideways. We had lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, then higher highs. This kind of was telling us that there might be a change in trend, but that didn't happen, because we still made lower lows. We made a low that was lower than the last low, and this was a turning point here. So not yet. So we kind of make another triple top here. I understood that this was a support area here. So then we started to go up. We had a higher high. We had a first lower low, then we broke to the upside. So we're now at the phase of trying to understand if we are still on an uptrend or if that trend has changed. Because according to this, we're still on an uptrend because we made a higher high, a higher low, and then we topped out here. So now we have to understand if this, because we're making a lower low, this is kind of the first signal that we might be on a downtrend, because we're making lower lows than this previous low. So now we have to wait for the lower high, which may also be already the case. Yep, it looks like it's already starting to break down. So breaking this low here, it's definite confirmation that we're on a downtrend again, and we might see a bounce at around 91.88. If that doesn't hold, then this will be the ultimate line of support, which has been strong support, the 91.70. So I guess we have to wait and see what will happen. So as of right now, we're making it a double bottom. Let's see if it continues low. Yes, now we're making lower lows, so this is the downtrend confirmation here. We have a downtrend confirmation here. We are making lower lows. In the meantime, let's take a look at the Dow Jones. Let's take a look at the DJY. So yeah, we're kind of seeing the same thing here. In the Dow Jones, we topped out here. We had a lower low, a lower high. Now we're making another lower low. And if we're not making a higher high, then this is already been confirmed, a downtrend, but we have to see if this continues. Or if we could have another rebound here. So in regards of the futures, it's the same thing. So once we broke out this, we had this higher high, lower low, higher high, lower low. I don't know if we can consider this a lower high, or we can. We kind of had a lower high, which was our no. This was still a higher high. We had this we had this higher low here as well. Then we went up. We saw big rejection here, which this might already have been telling us this week here that we were in some kind of a reversal here. Then we had the lower low, the lower low, the lower high, the lower low. So once again, we're still bouncing at this area here. So once again, we're trying to understand if we are going, if we are still on the downtrend, or if we are changing the trend again to the upside. Looks like we have been forming a massive head here. I would say this is a head. Maybe we're going for a shoulder. If this is the case, here is the neckline for it. Maybe anyone wants to trade this, because Because if we break to the downside, there's a big chance that we're going to have a bigger correction here. Although this is not confirmed, and although we still do not know if this is a head and shoulders formation, we can see the potential. Uh, yeah, I will have to take this call. I'll be back. Hello guys, sorry about that. I was at the phone, so Bitcoin falling now. Now test the 8700s. Yeah, let's see what happens here. But once again, it looks like we're in a downtrend here on the Dow Jones futures, and once again, this is the line that we should be worried about here, because this is the line of the falling wedge of the rising wedge. So here you can clearly see it now. So if we break below this level here, then yeah, we will see the 800 levels, at least in Bitcoin. I haven't even checked because once again I was at the phone. I'm still not certain what is going on. So yeah, Bitcoin dumped a lot here. So we tested the 9,000 area. So it looks like that the scenario, the very bullish scenario, is not playing out as I considered in my last video, because I talked about the scenarios here. So the Dow Jones itself didn't lose that much. It's still at around this this structure here, still testing the this widening wedge or broadening wedge here, which is actually a very bullish scenario. But once again, we broke to the upside, we went down, we're kind of testing it, and if we get a rejection from here, then we will continue to go down as well. So once again, the bullish scenario doesn't look like it's going to happen, at least as of right now, and we are seeing it on the futures. Once again, we are seeing that on the futures here. So once again, if we test and fall below this rising wedge here, you know what's up, right? And it looks like in Bitcoin we already broken out of that falling wedge, because we were, sorry, the rising wedge, because we were also in a rising wedge pattern on the Bitcoin, like we can see here. So we've fallen down from this rising wedge pattern. So we are clearly on a downtrend again. So once again, we have to wait and see what happens here. But the scenario just turned very bullish very quickly. You know, the beginning of the market, you know, I was actually I actually thought that we were going to make you know, higher highs here. But once again, it doesn't look like it's happening. When the Dow Jones is not losing that much. This was the scenario that I was talking about. So breaking up clearly from this broadening wedge here. So this could be the potential target, but we still have to understand that this is a major resistance area. If that would have been broken, we would have another one, and I believe this is the real resistance area here. If we would break this structure here, then yeah, things would be very difficult. But as of right now, you know, looks like the bulls are losing control once again, and you know, no matter what happens, you know, this crash is inevitable. The Fed is trying to do whatever it can to stock it up, but they already, Mnuchin, or the other guy, the Fed chairman guy, he said that they were not continued to doing the bank shares buyback. So they're not going to continue to intervene in the market, as I believe. And yeah, the market won't have the money to continue to pump. That's what I understand from all of this. So Bitcoin clearly dumped fallen from that structure that I was talking about here. So this, once again, this became very quickly a very big bear scenario once again. So we have broken out for a long time from this rising wedge formation, or from this broadening wedge, because this is a broadening wedge, and we had already fallen out of it, you know, since the 22nd of June. So I believe that we are about to resume the crash here. So today is Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, today is Thursday, so tomorrow will be the last trading day for the markets. Then the United States will have the 4th of July. I believe that something will happen in the 4th of July. I don't know what will happen yet, but I presume that nothing good will happen on the 4th of July. And I believe that on Monday, when the markets reopen, we will continue to crash, or we will resume the crash. That is what I'm expecting here, because nothing, absolutely nothing is bullish about this economy and about the stock market itself. So I still don't understand how people can be bullish despite of the markets continuing to go higher, for, you know, the reason that we know. The Fed is pumping up the market, but it will not continue. You know, I don't believe that they continue to do this. And yeah, we're starting to see where Bitcoin is wanting to go. And if Bitcoin is going lower, you know, generally in the weekdays the markets have the upper hand, but on the weekends, if on the weekend, if in the 4th or the 5th we have a break to the downside, a clear break to the downside in the Bitcoin market, expect all hell to break loose on the stock market. So once again here, this is what we are dealing here, and I'm not seeing any bullish signs here whatsoever, guys. Once again, I'm not seeing any bullish signs whatsoever. So let me take a look at the Euro USD market just to check what's going on. So yeah, the Euro USD market, so we tried to go lower, but we were unable to go much lower than that. So that's the scenario that we are looking at here. So we will have to wait on what happens. We will have to wait on what happens to the market. As of right now, we have to assess, because we know that everything changes very quickly in the market, and I will try to figure out if there is any position that I can get in. So that will be what I will be assessing in the future. But once again, the markets are not doing well, and BTC once again, you know, is showing weakness. So yeah, once again, it's very bearish scenario here. Bitcoin dropping from this this ascending wedge here. So, and we just have to take a look at something. Take a look at a pattern that I actually watched here as well. You know, somebody mentioned it, and I took a look at it. Take a look at what Bitcoin is doing right now. It did this in the past, in the recent past. You want to see when that happened? When that happened here? So, when was it? Yeah, we can actually compare. Look, we can actually compare it to this one. Look at the structure. So we had this top here, right? We had this top here that coincides with this. Then we started to break down. We broke down. We went up again. Now we're breaking down. Not kind of the same pattern here, but I think kind of the same thing. Yeah, but I'm not looking at this right. So the thing that I'm talking about is before the first crash. Before the first crash. So this is what happened. Before the first crash, we had this higher high, we have this low, this lower high, this lower low, this lower high, then we dumped, then we came back, and then we had another dump. So this could be the, and I believe that we're in this kind of formation because take a look here. This was the higher high, around almost 10,503. This was our highest high, right? After that we had lower highs, like we can see here. Another lower high, like we can see here. We dumped. We went a little bit to the upside, and now this might coincide to the dump that we're going to get now. This could be the case scenario here. So that's what we need to take a look at, because man, this hammering is really driving me nuts again. So I will end the stream because you know these guys are making too fucking much noise. I can't even think in this. So this is the scenario that we're in right now, and I believe that shit are still hitting the fan in regards of the economy and the markets and whatever. So to test the 8700s, yep, definitely, man. I'm with you on that. So I really must end the stream now because it's too fucking loud, man. So can you check MCO USDT? I'm starting to accumulate MCO and I'm looking at anything below 3.5. Sure, man. MCO USDT. MCO USDT. So let's take a look at the bigger picture here. Let me check the 1 hour chart. Oh yeah. No, we're kind of at on the same deal, although Monaco coin, although actually dropped a lot, you know. This would be a good scenario to get in, but once again, guys, or once again, Vitor, look, we're about to crash here, so I would reconsider to buy this, you know, because once again, man, if the stock market and Bitcoin and cryptocurrency are going down, you know what the possible price could be. How much lower you could actually buy this. There is not much data. I thought there would be more data than there is. Look, I would be looking to buy Monaco at around these levels or even lower, right? That was after the crash here. You see, man? Like I said, man, I'm not interested in buying anything right now. The thing that I'm doing is I'm shorting. I'm basically short. I'm basically short. All of my positions that I sold a while ago, I put it all into leveraged short leveraged tokens. So I'm expecting for a bigger dump than this one. I'm expecting much lower prices in Bitcoin. We are still about to see, or about to to have a gap at around $3,100, right? So I wouldn't be buying this at all. Just take a look at the structure here. Take a look at the structure here, right? This structure here is telling you that we are going lower. It's kind of what Bitcoin is telling us as well, right? So I wouldn't be buying, and I'm not buying anything at all, man. I'm not buying anything at all. And like I said, I'm a big BSV fan guy, and I'm not buying because I know that everything is going to crash. Just take a look at the structure here. Does this look like in any way that this wants to go up? Just take a look at what happened. Look at this arc here. Let me see if I can do an arc to try to understand what this market is about to do. So where is it? An arc. Must be some kind of arc here. Projection, short. That's not it. Let me see if I find an arc. Fib channel. That's not what I want as well. An arc. Yeah. Let's take a look at an arc here. I have to place it upside down. Let's see if I can reverse it. Man, there's too much noise in this chart. I have to use another one. There is too much noise in this chart here, so I have to get rid of it. Let me check another chart here that is not as clotted as this one. You just have to take a look, man. This does not look anything like it's bullish, man. Just take a look at what happened here. Just let me remove here this stuff here. Let's use the arc again. Let's use the arc upside down. I know there's another simpler way, but I don't know how to do it. There is a way to do this, man. Trend line, advantage, horizontal, extended parallel channel, bow, or a bow, or some kind of a bow. Yeah, there's a simple way of doing this. I'm just missing how to do it. So trend line, vertical line, extended parallel channel, disjointment, flat top, bottom, pitchfork, pitch fan, fib channel, fib spiral, fib wedge. Maybe I have to draw it. Arrow marker, flag mark, note, anchor text. But there's another way to do that. I just can't find time cycle, cyclic lines, Elliott wave, head and shoulders, time cycles. Come on. Long positions, projections. It's not what it is. Yeah, I guess I have to draw it, and my drawings are a little bit off. Let me see if I can find it here and here as well. Arrow, dot. Let's see if the dot does anything. I don't believe so. Yeah. No, I know there is a way to do that, some kind of an arc, but not the way that I wanted to show it. But yeah, now let's inverse it. Yeah, guys, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about here. Does that does that look in any way bullish, guys? What is it signaling you? Just take a look at the last one we had. I don't know, maybe from here, right? From here to here. Look, is this bullish, guys? Is this something you want to be buying? It doesn't matter if it is Bitcoin or any other altcoin. Do you want to be buying this, guys? Just take a look at it. Do you want to see other parallels here? Let's take a look at the top. Maybe taking a look at the top here. I don't know, guys, but do you really want to be buying this or buying cryptocurrency at these levels, man? So, look, I get it. I get it. Do whatever you must, but I wouldn't do it. Look here, guys. Once again, take a look at this one. Does that look in any shape or form look like something that is bullish? Does that look bullish in any single way of the term? Does that look bullish, guys? I don't think so. Want to see another example? Let's continue to go back here. Let's continue. Let's go back to these tops here. Does that look bullish here? Does that look bullish? Because basically what you are doing, you are buying on the top of the market. Although it doesn't look like it, you're buying on the top of the market. That's what you're doing. If you're buying any, if you're buying Bitcoin or any other altcoin or whatever, you're buying at the tops. That's what you have to understand. Do these patterns look bullish to you? Just look at it. Look at this one. Look at this one. Look at this one, and look at this one. Does that look in any way, shape, or form bullish to you? So yeah, man, if you want to be buying Monaco at these levels, go ahead, man. Go ahead, but you know when Monaco loses 50% of its value, then yeah, yeah, it won't look that good as well, right? Because once again, let's take a look at the high frame here. And even on the higher frames, it actually looks like a very good buying opportunity here. I won't deny it. But once again, you have to take into considerations where the low were, right? So look even here, you know, let's do the stuff. Look here, I can draw it here as well. Once again, man, does this look bullish to you, man? In any shape or form, does that look bullish? Well, this looked like this as well, and looked what happened, right? Here. Right? Sorry, man. Yeah, it is. Maybe it is a good buying opportunity, but once again, so Monaco is at 4.51. So its low from March was 1992. So what I'm saying is basically is that when the market crashes, when crypto and stock market crashes again, you will see these prices again or lower, right? So once again, I'm asking you, do you really want to buy in at these prices? Although they look good, it looks good on a lower time frame. But once again, if you put the perspective of the 2 hour here, I wouldn't touch this. I wouldn't touch anything at all. Just something looking like this, like a top here, like a rounding. This is a rounding, right? This is a rounding here. So look, man, it's your money. It's up to you. So you have to you have to figure out what you want to do. But once again, man, and we already guess we're starting a little bit to dump here, so kind of from these highs here. So highs, lower high, lower high, lower high, higher low, higher high, but this will not sustain. Take a look at this structure here that was forming as well, right? This looks kind of what is happening right now. So we're going up a little bit, we're going up, and then after this little run up, then we boom, drop, have a little correction to the upside, then we continue to dump. So that's what I would be expecting, man. So that's what I'm saying, that you shouldn't be buying this, but it's your money, man. You have to do whatever you want to do, man. Okay, I will lower my entry from 350 to 210. And still, man, I still think that 210 is still too high, because at least what I would do, at least 210, I would put a buying order here at 2.004. And if you want to buy it at this price, don't go all in on it. Save 50% of the money that you want to invest here and wait for lower prices. I would do that, because I'm expecting for cryptocurrency and for Bitcoin to go even lower, right? So if you want to buy at these levels, I would put 50% of whatever you want to buy here at 1.992, and the other 50% I would even put it lower. I would I don't know. Yeah, the problem is that there is not enough historical data to see here. So MCO USDT, just let me take a look. If Binance was the first exchange that was listing it, yeah, that might have been the case. So yeah, no, they have more data. So Monaco has been listed in OKX for the longest time, it looks like. Yep. So this is how it looks like, guys. So top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, and now we're going. Yeah, if you want to buy in, look, put 50% of your buying order at 191, what is it? Yeah, 193 or whatever, and put the rest at 1.65 or even lower. If I would be buying this, that's what I'd be wanting to do. I would buy Monaco at these levels here. 1.66. This was in 2019, and I still believe that the price is going lower. I still don't believe this is the bottom here. In Monaco, 1.65 is the bottom here. I still believe we're going lower than that. That's how bearish I am in this market. But once again, you have to decide for yourself. But I would be putting another buying order at these levels here, at 1.65 eventually. You can put a buying order at 193, 164, maybe at 1. Just leave an open order at $1. If you get lucky, you get lucky. Sometimes it happens. So that would be my advice, but I can't give any advice because I'm not a financial advice. Just okay. Yeah, I'm thinking to do that and make 5 different buy orders on lower prices, 10% each. Yeah. If that's what you want to do, that would make sense, man. 10%. 10% at lower orders. Yeah, that makes sense. So your dollar averaging, that's what many people would like to do. But once again, man, it's a good strategy. Better than buying at these levels, because one thing you can be sure of, man, it's going lower. And I believe that the lows that I was talking about, these lows will be broken. I'm almost certain of that. That 192 to 94 area, that will be broken. And I still don't believe that that 1.65 or 66 will hold. But well, if you're dollar averaging, you can't do any wrong. So you buy here, you buy here, you buy here. You may eventually have lower orders here. If they don't get filled, whatever. At least you got filled at these ones, right? So that's what I would at least what I would do. And once, yeah, this is actually incredible. This is actually a hell of an head and shoulders pattern. Look, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. So what is it? Is this the neckline here? Is this the neckline here? If this is the neckline, if this is the neckline, if this is, I don't know if this is for real or not, that is how much Monaco could actually drop. Just let me put it in so you understand it. If this is a left shoulder, if this is a right shoulder, if this is the head, and if this is the neckline, so let's see where the price of Monaco could land up. I'm not saying it would, because sometimes these patterns don't play out. We have seen this in the past. I have shown them on the stream as well, but let's see where the potential price of Monaco when it bottoms out. Price range. So if this is what I think it is, the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder, if this is the neckline, that's where you want to be buying when it breaks down to the downside. And the maximum potential that you could make on this move from the top of the head until the neckline, right? Till the neckline. So, wow, this is 71.56%. So let's see how low that could bring Monaco coin. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but this is a possibility. This is a possibility and a probability. Although it might be low, it still is one. So let's see where the price of Monaco potentially could go. Wow. No, this is not. That's not possible. Yeah, that's these price these price actions, they don't work, because once again it's showing here 172.87%, man, but that was not what it was here up here. So yeah, forget it. But well, once again, theoretically it could happen. So basically what I'm saying is that Monaco could actually go to zero, but that doesn't only apply to Monaco, it applies to most of the other altcoins as well here. So this would put this would put Monaco at minus 2.38%. So basically it would go to zero. It may not happen, but it may happen as well. Take a look at what happened to oil, the WTI, right? WTI went below zero. So saying that this is not a possibility for it to happen on the cryptocurrency is an overstatement, in my opinion. But this is a possibility, not very probable to happen, but I would take that into consideration. If this head and shoulders pattern would actually play out, it would bring Monaco to zero. But yeah, we can't. I don't believe this is likely at all. Just to be clear, I'm bearish, but I'm not stupid. So once again, yeah, that's basically if you want to put the orders here, put at 165, but there is still a possibility that we could go below, maybe $1.75, 55 cents, I don't know, whatever, but I would still expect these kinds of numbers. That's once again my opinion about it. So yeah, let me just put this back. Let me see if there's anything else. So could be the neck. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying, man. Because because once again, if this is a head and shoulders pattern, if this plays out for real, and I'm telling you, this is not very probable at all. But if this is a head, this is the right shoulder, the left shoulder, the right shoulder, the head, and this is the neckline, and this move from the head until the neck can be accountable into potential targets that would bring Monaco to the negative. But once again, sometimes it does not happen because all you have to do is take a look at Bitcoin. Let's take a look at BLX, the historical chart of Bitcoin. The historical chart of Bitcoin. Yeah, it's kind of different. There is no head and shoulders pattern here. There's only kind of a wedge here. Kind of a decreasing wedge, or whatever you want to call it. Descending wedge. Descending wedge. So, yep. This still looks very bearish, although I guess we can't really can consider it as a falling wedge right now. But once again, we have to have more touches. So we had 2 touches only. Yeah. This is, like I said, this is kind of a bullish scenario. It's a bullish scenario, but not with the price here. It is potentially bullish at around here, or even at around here. Maybe these prices here, but like I said, guys, unfortunately, how things actually are, and this was the low, right? So 3,943 was the low. No, it wasn't the low. We had another low here. This was the low back in 2019, 3,173, and I still believe that we can go lower than this once again. So this is where we topped out. There is still a big possibility that we still could go to 1,755. Just taking a look at what happened here, right? It's still a possibility, guys. So this was one. So if you really want to tell me that there is no way in hell that Bitcoin can actually go back to the 1,000, or maybe doing this like a kind of this angle here. So if you want to tell me that there is no way in hell that Bitcoin can actually reach 2,363, or even testing these lows here at 1,958, man, look, you're not being realistic, because nobody saw this here. Nobody saw this coming. Nobody, absolutely nobody. Only a couple of people saw these lows here. Nobody saw the price of Bitcoin coming to 3,954 again. But we have to understand, I don't believe that the crash is over, and I believe that the stock market crash is going to go much lower. So if the stock market crash is going much lower than it did, then this crash to 3,954 in the Bitcoin market is going to go much lower. This could still be a potential here. 3,150, 3,271, and even the $1,945, man. This is still in the realms of possibility, because in my personal opinion, I still believe that we're going to have, this crash is still going to last. And if I'm right, if I'm right, and Bitcoin loses, or the stock market loses 87% from the top until the end of the bottom, it's going to be a bloodbath. 87%, man. I don't even know if we can do it here because once again this does not calculate the numbers very well. So just from here to here, just from here to here, so basically what we have to take into account is that, you know, Bitcoin from the top of $20,000, right? Bitcoin from the top of $20,000 went to 3,179.91. So Bitcoin lost 83.90%. So let's say that this is going to happen again. Or let's take a look at the other crash, this crash here, right? Let's take a look at this crash. Let's see how much Bitcoin lost from this top to this low here. Let's just do it again, just for research sake. So here, so in this move, Bitcoin lost 71.42% of its value, right? You're with me, right? So many of you may be saying, oh yeah, that will never happen to Bitcoin again. Look, this has already happened two times. What makes you certain that we were not going to see something like that? I'm absolutely certain just because of the stock market, the everything bubble, right? So let's put up the lower levels. So let's say that Bitcoin is dropping only 71.62%, right? So from this top, let's calculate 71.62%. That puts let's say 52. So that means, man, now I have to take the others out. So we've seen that in this move, Bitcoin lost about 83%, then it lost 71.62%, and now let's say that Bitcoin is going to lose another 71.52%. So let's see where that brings us here. Let me remove this here again. So it means that if Bitcoin is to lose at least 71.52%, that brings Bitcoin to the price of 2,890. But let's say we have a bigger drop. Let's say we're going back to these 83.90%, right? So let's see, we're dropping to 83.90%. 83.90%. So let's see where would that bring us? 83.90%. More or less. Here, it's good enough. You see where that would bring the price of Bitcoin? At about 1,674.47, guys. This is how low, just according to history, just according to what has happened in the past, it is still possible that Bitcoin could lose 1,674%. That's what you have to realize. This has happened before. These numbers are not made up by me. This here really happens. Bitcoin really lost 83.90% from the top of 20K to 3,000 something, 3,200. And then we had another drop here. Then Bitcoin dropped 71.52% from around 13,953 to 3,903, right? And now we could potentially lose another 71.52% or even 83.90%, guys. That's what you need to be prepared for. And that's what people don't seem to understand. It happened in the past, it happened before, and I'm almost certain it will happen again. Wishful thinking is not good enough, guys. Thinking that it's going to all-time high is not good enough because it happened in the past, and once again, even if we took this away, we have to understand what happened here. So we had a big pump, we had a big dump, we had a big pump, we had a big dump, we had another pump, not as a big one, and what we'll be having? We will be having another dump. How much it will dump? According to the last figures, we might be dumping to 2,890 or even 3,000. Damn, now I forgot. I have to put it back. Yeah, so these are the potentials, guys. We could drop to, we could drop as low as 2,939 or even lower, or even 81 or 83%. Let's say that is the case. 83%. Here. That means that we could drop to 1,750, guys. And once again, this happened before. These numbers are real. I'm not wishful thinking here, but nobody takes a look. These moon boys, the moon boys, they don't look at these numbers. They don't say, or they don't tell you that Bitcoin dropped from the top of 20K to 3K, about that. It lost about 83.90%. And they won't tell you that Bitcoin also lost 71.62%, right? They will not tell you that. But that is history, although many people don't understand or don't want to look at it. This is the reality. So this is the possibility, guys, here. I'm not making these numbers up. You can chart them as well. These are real. This has happened before, and it's very likely to happen again. Because we have to understand this is Fibonacci. It's all about cycles. The cycles like to repeat themselves, like we can see in the charts over and over again. That's what it's all about. So that's what I'm telling you is the possibility. And once again, I'm mumbling here for 2 hours, man. So once again, these are the possibility, guys, here. These are the possible scenarios. And in the stock market, so in the stock market we haven't seen any recession or any correction, any real correction in the stock market for 13 years. And generally, every 7 to 14 years, there is a crash. And I guess if it doesn't happen this year, although we already started the crash, I don't believe we're bottomed yet. I believe that we will bottom next year. In Bitcoin and in the stock market, we will bottom next year, maybe around November. How low can the price of the stock market drop? Well, according to the numbers, to historical charts, like it happened in the Great Depression. In the Great Depression from 1929 to 1932, the stock market lost 89%. Right? So, if, and let me go back to the Dow Jones here, if, let's say we will only drop 87% instead of the 89, which I believe it's more likely to happen. Although, once again, I could be wrong about this. Don't quote me on this. Look, I'm just basing myself on what history has shown us, because Many people like to say that history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. So right. So if, once again, if we are going to drop at least 82% in the stock market, right? Like in the Great Depression. Let's see where will that leaves us. So right now we're at 38%, so we still have a lot to drop, right? We still have a lot to drop. So 87%. So let me just continue to bring this down. 87%. 87%. So we're still only at 48%. Let's continue. Let's continue here. So 60, 70, 80, 80%. That's still not enough. So let's say, and I think this will still not be enough, or will it? Nope, this will be it. So if the stock market is to drop at least to 87%, I'm not even accounting the 89% there. If the stock market, the market is about to lose 87%, although I don't believe this is actually accurate, I don't know, man, but these 3 hours chart here, there's differences, so don't quote me on this. Don't quote me on this, because I'm not liking these numbers. Too low, I think. Let me see if I can do it better on the daily. No, but we already have it here. That's it. I already calculated it. So, and I already put the worst case scenario in here. So, if we will drop 89%, we will be at how much? We will be at 3,089 points. But if we are only about to drop 87%, so let's put a lighter scenario on this. Let's say 87%. So that will put us in at 3,928. So once again, for the people that say, oh, that will never happen, that is impossible. Look, it happened in the past. It happened in the Great Depression. It hasn't happened ever since, at least in the stock market. We never had any drop like this after the Great Depression. But like we saw it on Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin already did these numbers 3 times. Bitcoin already did these numbers 3 fucking times. So why you want to convince me that there is no way in hell that this is not going to happen again? Look, once again, guys, I like to take a look at data. I like to take a look at statistics. I like to look at some charts, and these is what the charts are telling me, because they happened. This is historical fact. This happened before, so there is a very high probability that it will happen again. Do you understand my reasoning in here? I know that many people, especially the Moon Boys, they don't want to see this. They don't want to even listen to what I'm saying here. But once again, this is the reality. This is what we could. This is what could happen here. I just got OMG USDT listed on Binance Futures. I was checking graphs, and that pair wasn't there a couple of minutes ago. Yeah, they have been adding some new crypto. OMG. Yeah, I guess OMG was also listed in another exchange. I can't remember which one. I don't know if it was Coinbase or whatever. I think they got listed there as well. No, but OMG has been in Binance already for a while, yeah. So So OMG has been around Binance for a while, like we can see here in the historical chart. So it was listed back in 2019, 7th of April, dumped, pumped, it dumped, it pumped, it dumped. So OMG, what could be the low? Well, I believe it will retest these lows here. 30 cents, 51 cents. I believe this will happen. I believe it will go lower. How much lower? I have no clue. So it is 20 cents, 21 cents in the cards. Absolutely, absolutely, in my opinion. And let's do the math here as well, right? Let's do the math. So how much did it drop since it got listed on Binance? So after it was listed on Binance, OMG lost 44.16%. Then after that, it gained 57.36%. What happened after that? After that, OMG lost 82.69% of its value, right? From this top to this bottom. Then it gained 62.52%. After that, it dropped another 80.27%. After that, OMG gained 86.56%. So what is likely to happen next? I think there's a big possibility that we will lose between 70 to 86.56% again, right? Which could put it at the same price. That's just look, this is just historic, man. I'm just pointing out what has been happening since OMG has listed, and if I would do this to every chart, it would happen to every chart. Want me to take a look at XVG? I used to be a fan of XVG. I'm not a fan of XVG anymore because the guys, I don't know what they're doing. Like most of the projects out there, I don't know what these people are doing. But whatever, man. So here, this is the historical chart of XVG and US dollars. So yeah, this is really a big one. This was one of the biggest gainers in the history of crypto, and the losers as well. So let's just take a look at this ridiculous chart here. So yeah, let's go back here in time. So XVG was listed back in April or May or June in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. So this is still very recent. Yeah, let's go back to the daily, it's better. So let's go back to the daily here. So in Binance, so since Binance was listed on the first day, so this happened on October 2017. When when Verge was listed in 2017, the price went to, or the price was listed on Binance at 0.01. 0.01, right? 0.01. How much is it? How much is Verge worth right now? 0.004 cents. Yeah. You want to see how much it grown since it was listed on Binance here, man. This will blow your mind. This was one of the biggest gainers in the history of crypto, man. So let's make the math here. And I was watching it. I had Verge as well. So let's check out the low here. The low was this, right? So in a matter of 2 or 3 months, or even less, in this time frame, Verge gained, take a look at this ridiculous number. Verge from the lows here, we could actually go much lower, but at least from these lows, Verge, no, I made it from the low. Yeah, great, awesome. So Verge from the lows, since it was listed on Binance, to the top, made an incredible 7,431.80% gain in just a matter of 2 or 3 months. So this happened here. The lows were December 7th. So it reached the top at the 23rd of December, man. In less than a month, Verge and many other cryptocurrencies did 7,431.80%. Do you understand what that means, man? If that means that if you invested $1, you would have made $7,431, right? Is that math right? No, I think it's more, or is it? Yeah, but basically that's it. So that means if you invested $10, you would have made $74,000. If you invested $100, you would have made $740,000. If you had bought only $1,000, you would have made $7,431,000. If you sold at the top, which many didn't, and I was one of them. I certainly learned my lesson, so this is how incredible this was. Then, after that, we had a dump. How much did Verge dump after this big pump? After that, Verge lost 1,250.24%. Right? It only took 1 month, but it only lasted that long. After that, it was all the way down. So let me check. After that dump, after that low, Verge gained another 407%. So, and after that top, we had another dump. Let's see where the low was. The low was here. So Verge lost another 2,356%, right? And now, yeah, we still haven't lifted off. After that, Verge kind of died, right? That still wasn't enough. It still went lower here. 001, 001. Now we're kind of, or we were at 00129. So we have been hovering these areas here. Now it started to pump a little bit, so let me see how much Verge has gained since the recent lows. So Verge actually made from the lows, from these lows at 001. So Verge made 671.14%. in the span of, yeah, I have to use the other indicator here. Date and price range. So let me go back here. So that means that between yeah, I made this transparent. So that means that, and this is not right, I have to do it right. From here, yeah, but I can do it, I have to do it another way. Yeah, this is better. So let me do it again. Let's check out the exact time span. So between March 14th and the 17th of June, I fucked up. Sorry guys. What the hell, man? From the low to the top. From the low to the top. Yeah, that's how it works. So that means that between the 13th of March and the 17th of June, in the span of 3 months, Verge gained 655.66% if you bought in the low and you sold at the top, which I don't believe many people did. But this is just looking at the Verge chart. If you want to take a look at any other chart, I bet that others did the same or even more. You know, I just can take a look at, I just remember in the top of my head Ravencoin, right? Ravencoin, let's see how much it gained from the bottom to the top, or since it got listed in Binance, right? Yeah, we can actually do that. So yeah, here is an exercise we can do. So basically when Ravencoin was listed on Binance, it gained 58%. Then from these 58%, it dropped 103%. After that drop, we gained another 117%, so not a very big performer until as of right now. And then it dropped 484.97%, and then after that, these were the highs here. Ravencoin made 230.56%. So it looked to me like a big performer, but taking a look at the numbers, Verge performed a lot better to the upside and to the downside. So that's how incredible these numbers are. Verge, man, from zero to hero and from hero to zero, man, this was the coin to ride. If these gains are going to ever happen again, well, they're still happening right now, but I don't believe that Verge will have any future. I believe Verge is already done. I don't see any utility from it, so that's just my opinion about Verge coin. Como was Aldo kind of new on Binance futures? Comp, but in the futures. Comp? Yeah, Comp must be already listed on must be already listed on. Oh, yeah. Comp must be already listed on Binance, I would say. It's listed on Coinbase, so it makes no sense that it is not listed on Binance. Yes, it is. No, it wouldn't make any sense whatsoever that Comp would not be listed on Binance if it is on Coinbase, man. These people want to make the money, so let's take a look at the gains of Comp here. I know they were big as well. So once it got listed, yeah, let's go from this place here. So since it got listed, let's see here. This was not the case. It dropped. It started here. So since Comp got listed, it gained 19.76%. So basically from 209.04 to 250. After that, Comp dumped 23.49% from 250 to 202. After that, let's make the top here. This was the top. After that, Comp made another 32.75%, putting it from a low of 202.72 to 269.11. It gained 66.38%. Where is Comp right now? Man, if you didn't see this coming, man, I don't know what you were expecting. So from this top here to this low, Comp lost 48.76%. So from $269.11, it went down to $180.90. If this is the bottom, and if Bitcoin and the market crash is going, yeah, and if crypto and the market is going to crash, this is not even close to the lows, guys. This Comp coin. Do you think 180 is low? Oh man, I haven't even seen the 500% level here yet. So if anyone believes that this Comp coin is not going to drop even harder than it already dumped, and it only dumped 48.76%. So wait until it gets to the numbers that we were seeing from 200 to 400 to 500% drops, right? So if people actually believe that Comp can go any lower, man, you have to start to take a look at these charts and start to take a look at these gains, the historical gains and the historical and the historical losses. That's what people have to start to do, man, because people don't do that. Yep. So I guess I will stop streaming right now. I've been long for a long time. I've been here for 2 hours and 31 minutes. How the hell will anybody will watch my videos, man? If I make videos of 2 hours and 31 minutes, man, nobody will watch this. But it's okay, man. At least I have someone to watch, and at least I have someone to share my, the charts and the historical facts and history a little bit with the people, so that they don't believe that this is all a lie. This really happened. The gains and the losses, the mega gains and the mega losses, they came and went, and they will come and go again. That big? Maybe not. Maybe not anymore. Maybe we will not maybe we will not be seeing these 3,000s and 4,000s gains and losses into the future. I don't believe that will happen for much longer. That's my opinion. But we will have to see. What we will see for sure is that we will see these kinds of numbers to the downside again. But if they will regain again, I don't believe the majority will. I don't believe that the majority will recover from the lows that I'm talking about. Only a couple, or maybe more. Maybe, I don't know, 6 10, maybe 12 or 20 crypto will survive this crash that is coming, because I believe that 99% of them will just go belly down. That's why personally I'm not holding anything right now, because in my personal opinion I don't believe that Bitcoin will recover from it, because Bitcoin is technically flawed. It can't scale, it is slow, and it is expensive to transact. So I wouldn't use that anyway. But once again, this is my opinion here. This is not based on facts or whatever. This is just an opinion. That's what I believe. So yeah, Vitor, I guess you're going. I will be going as well. So I am the coin. Maybe I'll be back later, or maybe I'll do another video. I'm the coin, and I'm out.